So I wrote a skit tonight, something I want you to be thinking about the whole time that as you're watching the skit. First of all, I asked several people to write things about people that have touched their lives in their past. So some of these I hope will be heartwarming to you. Most of them are true stories that other people have wrote. There's a couple of them that I wrote of what could be when we get to heaven. So you can pay attention for those. Hopefully they'll touch your heart as well. But we want you to remember the little tiny things that you do that you think may be insignificant can touch a person's life that you don't even realize. And someday when we get to heaven, we might find out that that little touch brought them to Christ. With that, I'll have all the kids and the narrators come up and get in your place.
Whichever Avery is going to.
Avery's wife or?
Yeah, whichever Avery.
Oh. That's the first one.
Everyone is coming to Grandpa's house this year. The house is full to overflowing as usual. When all the family shows up, all of us kids are sent upstairs to play because there isn't enough space in the living room. If you remember, it was a couple of years ago, Grandpa lost Grandma to cancer. And even so, Grandpa called it the best Thanksgiving ever because he got to spend it with Grandma in the hospital. And she talked about all of the things she was thankful for, and it made him refocus on what was really important in his life. His walk with Christ and all the little things that we do every day that can impact others so they have the opportunity to go to heaven one day. The kids get sent up to the attic to play, and as most kids do, explore. As they gather upstairs, they hear a noise in the closet.
Hey, what's that sound coming from the closet?
Should we look?
I'm getting scared. Why don't you look?
Let's get Mikey to look. He'll do anything. Hey, Mikey, come here. We have something for you to do.
What's that?
There's a noise coming from that closet. Can you go see what it is?
And what will you give me?
You can have a light breakfast cereal tomorrow.
Like cereal? What kind of noise?
There it is again.
Squirrel!
Oh my goodness!
Hey guys, look at this. It says Grandma's interview letters when I get to heaven. Hey, let's read these. They're not ours. We shouldn't read them. Look, it says they are letters from people who they want to thank when they get to heaven. What could be wrong with reading them?
Let me have one.
Okay, let's all take one and read it.
To Sarah and all the people who helped with Embrace Grace. I have never met them, but my mom said she was so special to her because she took the time to spend walking with me through my pregnancy and giving me hope in Christ. Without her, I might not be here today, so I want to say thank you.
From Honduras, Hector's family and their 3 children lost their home and all their possessions in the fire. And we were thankful for shoebox gifts. We lost everything. We weren't able to save anything, Hector said. My children were so happy when they saw the gifts and the toys from the shoeboxes because they got back a bit of what they had lost. The gifts brought them so much joy. When church members saw the uplifting impact of the shoeboxes, it inspired them to do more. They brought backpacks, sandals, and other items for the kids that would help them return to the school. Hector said the extra presents were a blessing. The church gave them things that we couldn't afford to buy. We thank God. But the biggest impact of all was made by the gospel. Hector and his family placed their faith in Christ and are now active members in the church. And someday when I get to heaven, I will get to say thank you, those people who bought and filled shoeboxes we received that gave us hope and the gospel of Christ. Without them, we may not be in heaven one day.
At camp, I remember one year laughing at my sister for going forward to accept Jesus in her heart. By the next year, I was the one walking forward to accept Jesus in my heart. I want to thank you for those who gave me money so I could go to camp. Without it, I may not be going to heaven.
When I was in college, I was not living for God at all and was on a really bad path that was going to destroy my life. All of us guys would hang out like normal college guys do. We had this one friend named Pat. We called him Preacher Pat because he really loved Jesus. We liked having Pat around, but unfortunately we didn't treat him very kindly all the time. We would tease him and pick on him and pull pranks on him. He just always kept telling us that I'm praying for all you guys. He would always tell us about Jesus and that we needed to give our lives to him and live for Jesus. Now I am living for God and would love to say a huge thank you to Pat.
I was young when my grandma was passing away from cancer. The family was over to see her. One by one, we got to say our goodbyes. As I came up to give her a last hug, I could hear her praying for me. When I get to heaven, I want to thank her for all the prayers she said for me. Even when she was leaving this earth, she was still praying for me.
I was 2 years old. I was much too weak to walk. I couldn't even stand. My grandmother was worried that I wasn't growing properly because of lack of food. So she brought me to the community of Raka, Uganda, where they have a distribution center called African Children Today. And they give out packages of food packed for feeding starved children. I started eating the meals and quickly became stronger. Now I am thriving and active. Someday I dream of becoming a teacher, but when I get to heaven, I want to thank the ones who took time to pack me meals so I could be in heaven one day.
I remember my grandma who prayed for me every night, who gave me my first Bible and asked me if I was reading it, encouraged me to pray and follow Christ. So I wanted to say thank you, Grandma, because without her, I may not be going to heaven.
We may never know till we get to heaven how many children or adults have been touched through the years of Vacation Bible School. From the many children who may have never ever heard of Jesus till they came to be touched by workers, who were only doing a little task that combined with all the other workers presented the gospel of Christ to over 100 kids per night during Vacation Bible School. To the children who have grown up in churches and reinforced their faith in Christ through the crafts, stories, games, and songs during the VBS, when we get to heaven, you will hear thank you for giving to the Lord in every little task you have done.
To the Jorgensen family, thank you for being an example of love and hospitality to our community. You have given many people an opportunity to hear the gospel by inviting them to your parties and events. Thank you for not only telling people what Christ's love looks like, but showing it with your lives. Also for spending time with the less fortunate in the community. A special thank you to Benny, who is no longer with us, for your kindness and patience, and for being a solid friend for many.
I remember my youth leader who lived just down the road. He would let us come visit him on days when he wasn't teaching. He would just spend time with us playing games and talking about God, taking us to events where we could grow spiritually. When I got to heaven, I want to thank him for spending time with me, even though he didn't know the impact he was making on my life, so I could be in heaven someday.
My aha moment, which changed my prayer life 50 years ago. It happened back in 1937 while attending Bible college. I was involved in choir, and every year a tour was set up. We would stay in people's homes. I do not remember the name of our hostess, but I do remember how she impacted my life with her heart of devotion to Jesus. I became aware of her conversations with Jesus. She was standing at the kitchen sink carrying
an out loud conversation with him like he was standing right there alongside her. She reminded me of Corrie ten Boom. She could have been her twin. Just talking to Jesus was what she was doing. Brandon Lake has written a song with a simple message, talking to Jesus. One of the choruses goes like this: just start talking to Jesus. Just start talking to Jesus. Just keep talking to Jesus for the rest of your life. It's so simple. Because of her example, by talking to Jesus just like she would to her best friend. The simplicity of her talking to Jesus changed how I thought I should pray. I've been talking to Jesus for 50 plus years now, having conversations anywhere at any time. It happens when I am working or standing in a hospital room, talking to Jesus about my family, my struggles, my victories. It doesn't matter what the subject matter is, we talk. The song Talking to Jesus took me down memory lane, reminding me of that Kairos moment that changed my prayer life. She gifted each of us girls with a porcelain cross necklace. Whenever I came across it, I am reminded of how precious it is to talk to Jesus. What a friend we have in Jesus. Start talking to him and keep talking to him. Keep it simple and real.
This church is great for the many outreach opportunities we do, and just letting Christ shine through us at our everyday jobs. We may not see the full impact until we get to heaven. We will then get to see the real impact of what Thanksgiving can really mean. This Thanksgiving season, take time to think about all the people who have touched you and helped you grow closer to Christ, and thank God for them.
Who's always around to do anything that you could need. If you're stuck on the side of the road, or your truck breaks down, or if you need food for a benefit, who shows the generosity of God. Everybody, whenever you see Alan after the service, please just tell him thank you for all the things that he does for everybody.